All right, ladies and gentlemen. So we got an article here from Game Rant talking about how Ironheart is already being review bombed. If you guys are unaware, Ironheart has come out already with the first 3 episodes, and needless to say, it's not doing very well. Rotten Tomatoes has a pretty terrible score for people, for the all critics, which we're going to go over in this video. But Ironheart has been getting roasted online. People are clearly making fun of it, and rightfully so. It's your typical cringe show to be expected from Marvel that has everything to do with identity politics and nothing to do with an actual TV show that's worth watching. Ironheart being review bomb is the same run-of-the-mill excuse that they always use, right? How many times have we seen all these different kinds of TV shows come out that have very similar settings, and people are going to say, oh, it's a black female? No, I'm talking about these shows that are clearly being made for anything other than entertainment. How many times have you seen from a mile away them getting ready to use the review bomb excuse, right? Or the racism excuse, or in this case, the sexism excuse, the misogyny excuse, whatever buzzword they could possibly utilize to ensure that they are the ones who are morally superior over you. So let's see what this article from Game Rant has to say, and we're going to look over at Rotten Tomatoes. We can just go now, actually, to see what's going on. So the average audience score right now for this particular CB show is 57%, with the critic score being 87%. But the hilarious thing is when you click this, the all audience score is 57%, which we already know, but the top critics are actually 56%. It seems like the lower rated critics are the ones that are bolstering this show to ensure it has as high of a score as possible. But the top rated critics are basically at almost a 50-50 split on this show, with 10 fresh and 8 rotten. So you could take that information and do with it as you will. So let's see what Game Rant has to say about this. People rated Ironheart poorly on Rotten Tomatoes before its debut on Disney Plus, resulting in 32% popcorn meter rating. Marvel shows featuring people of color like Ironheart often face review bombing. Wow. Despite mixed reviews, Ironheart fans find the series entertaining with enthusiasm for upcoming episodes. Is that really happening? Is that sincerely happening? Let's be real, man. Is anybody on Twitter, anybody on YouTube, aside from the couple of shills every now and then, or the people who talk about grifters, you guys are grifters because you don't like the show that I like? I wish I could go back in time to a world where people were allowed to dislike things and not be called a grifter because somebody else likes it. It's kind of insane. And this is why we started calling them shills to counter that, because it's exactly how they're acting. And it says, again, Ironheart fans find the series entertaining. Not from what I can see. If you look at the review scores, you can clearly see that it's not doing very well. And people don't find it entertaining. And keep in mind, too, Rotten Tomatoes, I don't like utilizing Rotten Tomatoes. I use it because a lot of people like looking at it. But to be fair, Rotten Tomatoes plays around with the scores a lot. They constantly delete shit all the time. IMDb also does the same thing. It's a clusterfuck. A lot of these websites are just unreliable at this point. Ironheart isn't a perfect series, so they admit it's not that great. But the fact that so many people could dislike it before even watching one episode would give anyone pause. Why would that give you a pause, though? See, here's the thing, right? People like this try to gaslight you into believing that you're not allowed to make an assumption, right? An assumption, keyword assumption, which again, when you assume, you take the risk, but they try to make it seem like you're not allowed to make an assumption or at least have a thought about a TV show based off of the trailer. And they do this for movies too, right? They say, well, you should watch it first before judging. Why? Why is that? The trailer's entire job is to try to get me to want to watch the TV show, right? The trailer's entire job is to get me to want to watch the movie. If the trailer could not get me to want to do that, then the trailer failed. The trailer failed in every aspect, right? Because that was its one job. That's its only job. The trailer only exists to get you to want to watch the TV show or the movie or play the video game. That's its only job. And if it doesn't make you want to do that, then it's not a good trailer, right? So the trailer allows you to assess whether or not it's something you want to see, something you want to play. And if in your mind you decided, well, it doesn't look like it's for me, then why do you get mad at people that suddenly think that way? That's not the fault of them. That's the fault of the trailer. But they'll try to make it seem like it's your fault for being a racist, right? Because you didn't want to go see Timu Ironheart or Iron Man. That's really what it is. You didn't want to go see Timu Iron Man, and that's why you're a racist. But anyway, it says the series takes place after the 2022 movie Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. However, it isn't the only Marvel project that is out this summer. The Fantastic Four: First Steps will be out. That's another one, by the way. The Fantastic Four First Steps, if that movie bombs, which I don't really think it's going to, because I think that it's going to have enough to maybe break even, but I could be wrong on that. But if that movie does bomb, guaranteed they're going to blame it because of female Silver Surfer. Guaranteed they're going to blame it because of Sue and how the entire dynamic of the Fantastic Four has completely changed. They're going to blame it on the fact that there's women being in the prime lead and all that stuff. That's what they're going to blame it on. I guarantee they're going to have all of those articles ready to go. They're going to have all of that damage control, PR, all that nonsense ready to go. They're getting ready to call you a misogynist as I speak. That's literally what's happening right now. But the Fantastic Four will be out on July 25th. Oh, that's coming out pretty soon. Followed by the animated series Eyes of Wakanda. That sounds interesting. The fall and winter will be a busy one too, with the 4-part Marvel show, Marvel Zombies, and the series Wonder Man arriving on Disney Plus in October and December 2025. But in any case, Ironheart episodes 1 through 3 premiered on Disney Plus. But according to a post on Reddit, people gave the series low ratings on Rotten Tomatoes before it was even released. This resulted in a 32% rating on the popcorn meter, while fans noted that those low ratings have been taken off the website. You see what I'm saying, though? So you see what I'm saying? So they're taking ratings off the website, but I guarantee you, and I would place money on this, I'm okay with you taking off negative reviews that go live before the show goes live. I'm okay with that. Only if you reinforce that same exact rule with the positive one. But I will bet you $5,000 at the minimum that they don't do that. I would bet you money that they do not take off the preloaded positive reviews, because just as much as there's supposed review bombing for the negative reviews, there's review bombing for the positive reviews as well. I guarantee you they don't take those off. But while fans noted that they took the ratings off at the time of this writing, the series has a 69% Rotten Tomatoes score and 69% on the popcorn meter, which shows that audiences and critics aren't as impressed by the series as they hope to be. As several noted in the Reddit post, Marvel shows that feature a person of color and oftentimes a woman of color in the lead role tend to get review bombed. Ironheart stars Dominique Thorne as Riri Williams, or Ironheart, a student at MIT who makes a suit from armor that is like Iron Man's. The series also, like Iron Man, sure. The series also stars Manny Montana, Cree Summer, Eric Andre, Jim Rash, Luke Ross, Andrew White, etc., etc. Then it says, while fans heard back in 2020 that Marvel will make an Ironheart TV series, it took several years to come to fruition. Why is that? Why is that? Why did this show take several years extra to come into fruition? I wonder why that could be. Perhaps it was an absolute mess. Perhaps there was a multitude of different issues with the script, maybe filming, who knows? But I wonder why that could have been. Listen, man, I'm going to be very frank with you guys. This entire excuse about people of color being the reason why the show is being review bombed, it's so pathetic at this point. You guys are absolute losers for trying to utilize this narrative to push and claim that everybody review bombing it is racist, when you literally admit there's articles out there that are admitting that there are positive reviews being utilized to bolster the score higher after all the negative reviews, not before, but after. So you got positive review bombing happening right now, and nobody's saying anything about that. Nobody's saying a single word about that. And by nobody, I'm meaning them, the mainstream journalists. They're not saying a single thing about it. But the negative ones, oh no, you got to talk about that. You got to highlight that. That's not allowed, right? The one that is 6 paragraphs long talking about everything that happens in a TV show, and that's a 1 out of 10, that's not allowed. But the one that says great show, 10 out of 10, literally, and that's it, that's allowed. It's unbelievable. It's a massive levels of fatigue that are being experienced right now by your average viewer. And I think what happened was people saw the trailer. They realized that, just like, you know what, when I watched this trailer, Ironheart, you know what it felt like to me? It felt like watching Robin Hood. If you guys remember Director X Robin Hood, when that show was first initially being premiered, and how that trailer was just overly ridiculous in every modern audience way possible, that is exactly what I thought when I saw Ironheart, the trailer. There was not a single thing in the Ironheart trailer that ever adhered to me and said, yeah, go watch this show. And a lot of people felt that way. It says Marvel fans will recognize one particular character in Ironheart, and Janaka Hodge, the head writer, told TV Line, one of the best things about the MCU is how things connect, but I think so many of the throws have been forward or to other MCUs or alternative universes, and that it's so much fun to reach back. Honestly, at this point, this thing is such a joke, man. I really, like, you get this score not because of racism. You get this score because you just don't want to sit there and admit that the show is trash, bro. That's the problem. I can easily just say Just like these guys say, oh, every time there's a person of color, there's review bombing. I can easily say the same exact thing in the opposite way, that every time there's a person of color, especially a black female, you guys immediately go on the defensive. You can never sit there and admit that the show is terrible. You have to be positive about it, because if you're not positive about it, not only does it risk your ideology because you guys think these people can't do no wrong, but it also risks cancellation on your end because you guys will eat each other if you're not shilling for whatever the hell you're shilling for. It is a complete mess if you guys even remotely be honest about this. Look at the critics, 56%. Again, usually I ignore critics, but it's very clear that this show is not good. But you guys are trying to pretend like it's totally fine, and the only reason why people are leaving bad reviews is because of a black woman. It's ridiculous, man. Stop the lie. Stop the lie. Everybody has seen through this lie for ages now. It doesn't work anymore. And this is why I say all the time, these people have lost control over the narrative. They lost control over the conversation. And this is why nobody listens to these journalists. So at the end of the day, you know, we could use their articles. We could make fun of them. Of course. Of course. Who is this? Who? There is a reason why. Yeah, you know what? Whatever. Of course, this person is the one to make an article like this. Everything is about people of color. Everything is about black women. If you don't like a show with a black woman, you're racist, you're misogynist. It's all a massive joke, and I'm honestly just over it. So you guys can let me know in the comments down below. What do you think about Ironheart? Have you watched it? Godspeed if you did, and if you did watch it, and if you enjoyed, I have no problems with that. Let me know why you enjoyed the show. But if you didn't enjoy the show, well, you can let me know in the comments down below. Trust me, it doesn't affect any scoring whatsoever, and I promise I won't delete them like Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb and all these losers and stuff like that. So let me know what you think about this, and I'll see you guys on the next one.